I realized that I really needed help when, after several months of being on my own and trying to pay down credit cards, I just felt like I was getting nowhere. And I felt like they were adding on more and more money onto my cards. And even though I was trying to pay them on time, well, I was paying them on time, I felt like they were just adding more and more interest rate and more money onto my cards, and even though I was paying them on time. So I said, there's no way I could ever get out of debt. I'm paying the minimum payments, and even though I'm a good customer and even though I'm, following the rules with them, they don't help you at all. I mean, they don't give you any breaks for being a good customer to them. So I realized that the amount of money that I owed, it was a large enough amount that it would take years and years and years to pay it off the way that I was going.
Why not just do this yourself? Why do you need Freedom Debt Relief? Why couldn't you do it? Did you try to call your credit card company yourself?
I tried calling my credit card companies and working with them. They did offer some debt relief type of situation, like helping you with payments, and but the problem, I think, with the credit card companies is that the interest rates are so high, and they're not, the cards that I had, they weren't willing to lower any of those interest rates, which that kept adding on more and more money, and it just seemed like a dead-end street with them. They weren't very helpful in working with me. I explained the situation that I was in. I was kind of in a situation not by my own choice. I felt like I didn't have any other options but to try and work with them, and they just weren't very. I felt like I kept hitting a brick wall when I was talking to the credit card companies. They just weren't very helpful at all.
And when Freedom Debt Relief stepped in, how did that change?
Well, Freedom Debt Relief, when they stepped in, they just basically took over, and they were like, you don't have to do anything. We will do it all. And so I think a lot of the negotiating and things that I was trying to do on my own, where I was getting nowhere, they were getting somewhere. They would give me updates. I would call and get updates. They were very encouraging to say, hey, call anytime you want an update, anytime you want to know what's happening with your account. We'll answer any questions for you. So the process just was much smoother. I would have never been able to do it on my own. I wouldn't. There's a lot of legal things and negotiating to do, and a lot of the credit card companies are very stubborn. They just don't want to help. They want you to stay in debt because they're making money off of you, and if they can continue to keep you in debt, they're going to continue to make money. And so with Freedom Debt Relief, they were able to negotiate for me and be a little bit harder, I think, with the credit card companies than I could be. The credit card companies just really make it difficult. That's one thing I just was really blown away when trying to work with the credit card companies, that they were just so unwilling to work. And I think that it's so amazing to be debt-free, and I think it's so healthy to be debt-free mentally, and just it's a lot less stress in your life, that I would definitely suggest to anyone to try and get out of debt if they were deep into debt.
What was your experience like with Freedom Debt Relief?
I really appreciated Freedom Debt Relief because I would call, and every time I would call, there would be somebody there available for me to talk to. Their representatives were very knowledgeable, and a lot of times I called just, I had no idea like the process or anything, how to do all of this, and I just felt like they handled everything, like the lawyer type deal, the lawyers, because I was getting kind of threatening messages from the credit card companies, and they were talking about suing me or taking action against me. And so that part was very stressful. And so I would call just kind of stressed out about like, what am I getting in the mail and what is this? And they were very cool about explaining everything and telling me the process and what was happening. And it didn't matter like how many times I called. They were very willing to like even go over things that I wasn't really sure that I understood, and also give me kind of pointers and give me direction too, which was very helpful. It really eased a lot of like, the stress of it, and especially during that time, I was going through a very emotional process, going through a divorce, and so it just felt like that was something I didn't have to worry about. So yeah, they were great. They were really great.
Now, did you consider bankruptcy, and why did you decide to go with debt relief instead?
I thought about bankruptcy. One of the drawbacks for me was that it basically destroys all of your credit and everything. And then another reason why I didn't want to do that is because I felt like I did get myself into debt, and I am responsible for that money. And so I didn't want to have it completely washed away, because I felt like I was responsible to pay the amount back, and if not all of it, a portion of it, as much as I could.